Hi, I'm Kat.
I'm Phil.
And I'm Phyllis.
And you're watching
Word of Mouth.
Objection. On what grounds?
I wish to inquire what possible relevance the testimony of a zoology professor can have in this trial.
Well, it has every relevance. My client is on trial for teaching evolution. Any testimony relating to his alleged infringement of the law must be admissible.
Irrelevant, immaterial, inadmissible.
We saw Inherit the Wind. It's a play about a trial that happened in the South.
It was a show based on the Scopes monkey trial about teaching evolution in school.
And there was a law and laws on the books in that county in Tennessee that made this an offense that was a felony, and he was put on trial with the position of fine and imprisonment for this teaching.
It wasn't a big production, but it was staged very nicely. The stage itself had members of the audience, so you thought you were in a courtroom. If it didn't have that view or that scene, it would have been a little bare, but seeing people back there, you could believe you were in a courtroom.
You know, some ticket holders unknowingly were put up on stage and were sitting in the actual courtroom and were brought in. And I thought that would be interesting, even just to be up there, because how many times you get to be on a Broadway stage during a performance and like be looking out at the audience and stuff. It was just an interesting take to me.
Seeing the show with such actors like Christopher Plummer, he was great. He was great. And Donahue, wonderful too.
You know, it's Brian Dennehy coming down from, like, you know, he's stumping because he's a big political influence and running for president. He's figuring, you know, this is great for me. I'll pick up the whole Bible Belt, you know. And he comes down because he's going to defend the law.
Christopher Plummer plays the other side where the atheists, no God, we all started from monkeys, blah, blah, blah. And I think he stole the show. He was amazing. There wasn't a time when I wasn't completely intrigued with what he was saying.
Brian Dennehy and Christopher Plummer were, you know, older and, you know, every other part of what you expect them to be at this age and stage of their career. But boy, you know, flawless delivery, crowd enthrallment.
Dennis O'Hare, who played a just reporter that was coming through, I thought was so funny. He was sort of like the comical relief when it was too intense, and, you know, sort of gave you a brighter side to look at the show.
Byron Jennings, besides the two leads, was memorable for me. I had seen him twice before. But other than that, the other characters were kind of, you know, really just sprinkle fringe around Christopher Plummer and, you know, and Brian Dennehy.
Benjamin Walker was the school teacher on trial, and Maggie Lacey was the Reverend's daughter. And it was really confusing to figure out their relationship, whether or not they were a couple, whether they were like childhood friends. You couldn't really tell. And I did not enjoy watching them at all. I thought their acting was very hokey.
I noticed much of the audience were older people who probably remember the original. Nobody
young is going to really, you know, care. You know, they're not going to really pay attention enough to really feel like they got their, you know, their due. And if they don't know who they're looking at, shame on them, whatever. But I don't know that. I think it would kind of be squandered. I think more like my age, you know, grown adults, you know, out in the world, whatever. I don't think kids, I don't think any type of teenager really at all.
I know my mom loved it, and talking to some other adults, I know that they loved it too. And I think that it's just a little slow. It's educational, yes, which is why teachers and all that will love it, but I wouldn't really recommend it to my age. I would say definitely adults, like my parents and stuff like that.
I think it's a great play because it appeals to everybody. It's got an appeal of the story that we know happened, and it touches our life about the education and so on.
Looking back on it now, I really liked it. I liked the story. I thought it was interesting, but it was a little slow for what I'm used to. There were times when I was really intrigued and like completely into it, but then there were also a lot of times when I was sort of like, okay, what are you talking about again? I kind of forgot.
No, I don't think it's going to get redone because it doesn't have like a dancing candlestick in it. You know what I mean? It's not going to bring in the throngs of people who are going to, you know, I don't, but it's, if you get a chance to go, you know, just like you sent me to see, you know, George Bernard Shaw, these things are not going to come again, you know, and people, you know, it's their loss, you know. I mean, I'm not making myself like so, oh, you know, but they're not coming, you know, you're not going to see it, you know, go see it, you know, go see it. What are you going to see?
What do you think of sex, Colonel Brady?
In what spirit is this question asked?
Well, I'm not asking you what you think of sex as a husband or a father or a presidential candidate. I mean, you're up here as an expert on the Bible. What is the biblical evaluation of sex?
It is considered original sin.
And all these holy people got themselves begat through original sin. All this sinning make them any less holy?
Your Honor, where is this meeting?